So overview on me. I'm Philip Dawkins. I'm a playwright. I'm usually based in Chicago, sometimes based in Canada. Right now in Arizona. My pronouns are he, him, his, or anything respectful. And I've been writing for about 26, 27 years, something like that. I grew up in the theater and lifelong. I was an actor, so I come to playwriting through acting. And I tend to write quite a bit about LGBTQIA plus lives and communities. I also tend to write a lot about history, historical fiction. I write a lot of romance. And then I also write quite a bit for young audiences and families. And also the intersection of those communities. For families and young audiences, LGBTQIA, and all of that, and history. My work tends to be usually pretty ensemble based and usually very intergenerational. Those are kind of the things that I think define my work. But I'm truly a lover of all types of theater. I'm a big fan of other people's voices, which is my favorite thing about teaching, is getting a room full of students or a virtual room full of students and not knowing what any of your superpowers are until you reveal them. It's like, oh, that's your superpower. I didn't know you could walk through walls. You know, it's very Professor X over here, and you all reveal yourselves, and we have all your wonderful voices. So it's my favorite thing about teaching. I've taught at, in the past, I have taught at Loyola University Chicago, which is my alma mater, Northwestern University, and also DePaul a little bit at DePaul University in Chicago. I also ran for a number of years the Playwrights Development Workshop through the Access Program at Victory Gardens Theater, which is a playwriting group for playwrights with and without disabilities, which is a really cool group of people making really cool, very political and edgy work, which I enjoyed. And then I've also worked quite a bit in Chicago public schools. I had about 10 years of working as both a teaching artist and also a coordinator that placed artists in residence in Chicago public schools. So I come at this from a lot of different age levels, a lot of different opportunity levels, and a lot of different methods of education. And I've enjoyed them all. And I'm excited to be on the ground floor of this new venture with both the Playwrights Center and Augsburg. So that's me. Yeah, so pedagogically, so as Sarah mentioned, this course is designed to meet you at every level, and to meet the students at each individual level. This is sort of a bespoke class. You share with me your needs, where you are on your playwriting journey, whether it is, I've never taken a playwriting class before, what is playwriting, where are we, to, yeah, I've had a play produced on campus. I've done this before and I want to get better and I want to like reach into the deeper level. The way that I personally approach playwriting is that it is one other color in the large palette of theater colors, right? And if you are mostly an actor, well, then playwriting is just acting in reverse. So I can come at you with this idea that we're going to be doing the photo negative of what you do as an actor. You know, all of those things that you're looking for in a script as an actor, all of those cues and information that you need. Well, here's how you provide those for your actors, right? If you're coming at it from design, if you're coming at it from dramaturgy, any of these other valuable assets to the theater, it's all of a piece. So everybody belongs in here in the theater family. We can all learn more about our individual disciplines through doing this. And the way that I approach all of my playwriting classes is the way that I approach my Kung Fu classes, which is also something I teach, which is that there is no black belt class. There's no white belt class. There is no class that's just for red belts. There's just class. And what you do is you come in and whatever we're doing this day, you train at your belt level. And I will push you at your belt level. And if you're at a white belt level and we're doing a black belt level class, then it's going to help you and it's going to give you muscle resistance to try to train at black belt level. And as long as you try, it will be worthwhile for you. You may not hit every block the way that the black belt does, but you're going to get a challenging workout for you. If we are training at white belt level today, this is a review, and you push yourself as hard as you can as a black belt, and you are going to have a workout and a satisfying struggle here, right? So that's how I tend to approach. I don't believe in separating people out. This person's a novice writer. This person's had 2 classes. This does not work for me. What works for me is bringing everybody in and having us all push ourselves individually. And I will be on top of that as well to push you each individually at your level, so that we're not wasting anybody's time. I'm a Virgo. I don't believe in wasting time. So we'll be good. It looks like right now structurally, what we're looking at is, and Sarah, chime in here if I'm off base, and we're still looking at what this is specifically, but it looks like structurally this will be like a class that has a lab component, right? Because we won't all be able to meet temporally at the same time because of time zones and everything like that, or maybe this doesn't work with your school's schedule. There will be a lab component of it where we have the lecture time, which will be more of a discussion, but rather than a lecture, but let's call it, we'll have our lecture time. And then some other time during the week, there will be a moment where we workshop, let's say. Or we'll also structure this more like, we're gonna have extensive office hours, so that we'll do our group work together, and we'll know that some of you can't be there at that group time because of time, distance, and the gods, right? And then when you can, you'll know when my office hours are. You can sign up for those times, and you're going to get one-on-one from me, right? So that door will be open during those times. We'll make sure that those times work out for everybody else. It'd be just like office hours, right? Only be a little bit more, I think, instructional than your regular office hours. So the way that I've done this before, I've taught, I think this is my 5th class for Playwrights Center, and they've all been online, is that we do them like around, if this were a physical room, I would put us all in a circle and we would be sitting down and we read each other's works. And so there will be a time when you will know, and we've agreed upon that, say you, Krista, your 15 pages are due on this day at this time. And we will make sure that we have enough people showing up at that time to read all of the parts for you. We will read your piece. We'll have a moment for silent reflection so that we're not forced to immediately respond, and then we will share. I like to follow the Liz Lerman dramaturgical feedback response of like what drew us in, what took us out, what excites our curiosity, or what do we have more questions about, things that we know, things that we suspect, things that we don't know, things that we suspect, stuff like that, to give you as the writer an idea of what's landing, at least initially, in a very rough way on your listeners and your participants. And then you can take that information, go back, and then you'll probably get another time to do that again at least once. And that's very much peer driven. That a lot of what we are doing is learning how to critique each other in a way that is generative, creative, and generous, so that we can do that for ourselves when we don't have a group around. So I think pretty typical, not really reinventing the wheel. I think this is a pretty standard process that works well for a lot of people. And I have found it to work pretty well online as well. The beginning of the course, the course is front loaded with lectures so that you get all of the me talking at you out of the way, and then we can get us listening to each other, which is always more exciting to me. But I don't want us to just build the house and not give us any tools, right? I like to give you all the tools, give you all the materials, and then we build the house. So for those classes that are front loaded with lecture and theory and tools, those will be recorded as well. So if you can't be there on the days that aren't necessarily discussion driven, you can go back to those on your own time. And that's one of the great things about doing it online, is we can just record it as we're recording now, and you can go back and be caught up with everybody else. I like to start with the basics and go back to a very Aristotelian, conflict-centered plot structure, your regular patriarchal structure that is in every hero's journey, right? And I like to learn about those and really break them down according to the poetics so that we know what we're pushing against when we don't follow that. And we can understand the effect and value of what that does for our audience when we go according to this structure, and then the effect and value that that has when we break out of what we know our audience is expecting from us. So yeah, I like to really, really go back to thing one, and then extrapolate from there. Oh, excuse me, someone is calling me. Oh, Stefan DeMille. So yeah, I think that's mostly where we start. And then there's also a heavy component of reading other work, reading other people's works, being very steeped in those who came before us and those who walk with us today. So I always do include a lot of, I really believe in the Paula Vogel sort of playwriting is answering back to the playwrights who spoke before us, and writing love letters back to the playwrights who wrote first. So I always have us read some classics, some like deep classics, some new classics, maybe some unheard of work. I always try to include something from other continents that is not North American based, or at least not Upper North American based. And I also try to pull at least one thing that is in progress. That's a play maybe by a colleague that hasn't been published yet, or that has been commissioned and is in the process. Examples of those in the past have been Calamity West, Steve Yockey, Dominique Morisseau, just grabbing some of my friends' work and saying, like, this thing is an unfinished work that will have a production. Let's read this as well. So there's quite a bit of reading. This will be a heavy reading class. For a writing course, there will be a lot of reading, but it's fun reading. It's good stuff. There are clear outcomes. Every student will have 30 pages written of something, whether it's 30 consecutive pages, whether it's 30 single pages and you don't know where they go in the play, but they're probably part of something. Whether it's the beginning and the end, just in the middle, you will have 30 pages of a piece intended for performance, and a piece intended for dramatic production, right? And then you will also have a 10-minute completed play. So it's pretty heavy writing, and there will be rough drafts and feedback due of both of those as well. There'll also be a few written assignments that are not but those are just assignments along the way. But your final outcome will be 30 pages minimum of a larger piece, larger just in terms of length, and then a 10-minute or 10-page complete story intended for the stage.